Hey guys, how's everyone doing? I'm Bradley Miles, I'm the CEO of Roll. Before I start, it's just always good to get a survey of the audience quickly. So how many users here have used MetaMask recently? Cool, all right. How many users here have participated in a DAO? Okay. How many users here have used a decentralized exchange before? Raise your hand if yes or no. Okay. And how many folks have contributed liquidity to a decentralized exchange? Okay, cool. All right, so as I mentioned, I'm Bradley. I'm the CEO of Roll. We build social token products for the internet, creators, platforms, et cetera. And we're part of a larger category that I'll simply call Web 2.5. It's been really cool to see a lot of builders and investors use this term in Asia. And really it just means the infrastructure that gets Web3 to hundreds of millions and billions of users. That world isn't going to look the same as it does now. It doesn't mean a billion different seed phrases or platforms that are directly Web3. And I want to talk about some of the infrastructure that's important here and how to get there. But just first, I want to highlight the importance of infrastructure just really throughout human civilization. I mean, going back to like the prehistory of how we think about society, with the Stone Age, Iron Age, and Bronze Age, the tools and tool-making technology that help society move forward, all the way to the past few centuries. Think of the industrial age, where we transformed steam and electric currents and fossil fuels into energy, and the important infrastructure that allowed that to happen, engines, railways, other different types of tools, all the way to the digital age, where the real mission here was transforming the world's information into a digital format, and the infrastructure that made that possible, right? Memory chips, microprocessors, semiconductors. You could actually argue that the mission of the digital age is accomplished. We've transitioned the world's information into a digital format, and we're now living in the moral dilemma of that period, right? So we have all of this, the economics of the internet now centralized across several different platforms. And now, we need to create a new epoch, a new age of the internet to disseminate those economics more widely. We could loosely call this the blockchain age, and like ages in the past, it's going to require its own specific type of infrastructure. You could think about infrastructure for nodes, side chains, just to create more throughput there, and NFT and social token infrastructure. You could think about the next 1,000 platforms that integrate digital assets. They don't necessarily need to be digital asset platforms. It may be Twitter, Clubhouse, Spotify. With the right infrastructure, this is how we get the next few 100 million users. So I'm going to talk about that a little more, this idea that there's 5 billion plus monthly active internet users, and give or take a sort of liberal estimate is about 35 million monthly Web3 active users if you kind of use the wallets holders as a proxy. And so in order to get several 100 million Web3 users, you're going to have to meet Web2 users where they are. You're going to have to go to Web2 platforms. You're going to need to integrate products into email, mass social, mass games, and it's going to require a ton of infrastructure. And so getting all the builders together and creating this different type of infrastructure for wallets, fiat onboarding, the next 100 plus million users are going to come from Web 2, and you can't get to a true Web 3 world without Web 2.5. It's awesome to have great crypto native games and NFT marketplaces and things like this, but at their best, there's maybe several 100,000 daily active users. To get to millions, it's going to require a lot of infrastructure. So here's some examples of just Web 2.5 products, right? Different types of things that allow Web3 to scale. So one is MPC wallet infrastructure. So for those that don't know, MPC stands for multi-party computation. And it's just this idea of sharding a private key into many pieces and reassembling it in this Captain Planet style framework to allow transactions to happen. And this makes wallet infrastructure so secure and easy that your niece can hold tokens now in this way. There's no seed phrase, and it's just as secure. So a company like Fireblocks is great. MPC wallet infrastructure. My company, Roll, uses Fireblocks. It's really great. Stablecoins, of course, this idea that there's 5 billion people on the internet that are all super familiar with fiat currency, creating the digital equivalent and making it truly stable is some of the first tokens they'll receive, right? It won't necessarily be Bitcoin or Ether. It may be a digital version of the dollar for remittance purposes or something like this. So these are all ways builders can get involved and start building Web 2.5 infrastructure for us to properly get to Web 3. Token gating, if you guys are familiar with the Web3 creator economy, NFTs and social tokens, token gating infrastructure like Collabland or Guild allows you to hold a certain amount of tokens and gain access to different services or goods or Discord channels like very easily. And so creating better token gating projects will build a larger Web3 creator economy in the future. Fiat onboarding, take your pick, Wire, Zero Hash. These are all tools that enable those 5 billion internet users to buy crypto easily. Licensing and compliance, so requires a lot of licensing to become a fiat on-ramp. You can be one of those folks that allow users to buy or lease those licenses as well. So just talk to a company, Legatus, in Singapore here that does that. Exchange infrastructure, you can think of something like PayPal. There's a company like Paxos behind the scenes. So if you're buying Bitcoin on PayPal, it's this company Paxos allowing that to happen. If you buy crypto on a US company called Public.com, it's a company Apex Crypto behind the scenes allowing that to happen. Liquidity, right? Routing liquidity from one place to another, so different platforms can buy tokens. So wallet authentication, this idea of similar to token gating, verifying a user, allowing them to verify the wallet balance. Sidechains, when you think about the future of Web3 social, these types of things, they're going to require massive throughput. So the idea of building a very, very, very fast layer 2 on top of something like ETH-L1 allows that to happen easier. And then something that Roll does, right? Social token infrastructure, NFT infrastructure. This really allows a platform like, let's say, Clubhouse or Spotify to become a Web 2.5 platform. The total addressable market for all those users is collectively around 300, 400 million. So imagine creating a product and getting hundreds of millions of users on the spot. This is the power of Web 2.5. So definitely want to see more builders start to do this. And I'll talk a little bit about what Roll is. So Roll is, I'm an infrastructure builder, so I'm the CEO of Roll, and we build social token infrastructure. So we power social tokens. We make it really easy to mint social tokens, monetize them through membership capabilities. So holding a certain amount of tokens, paying creators, platforms in ETH, getting tokens back. And staking, this idea of locking up tokens and getting more tokens for liquidity mining or collaboration purposes. We've built an SDK that backs other platforms. So take the Clubhouse example, a Web 2 platform. You can create a world in which each Clubhouse chat room has their own token. Let's call it a Singapore food token. It can use something like memberships to generate liquidity for the Singapore food DAO. And then it can have a market value through staking, creating liquidity mining. And so Clubhouse doesn't have to be a Web3 platform in that analogy. They can focus on what they do best, spatial audio and chat and all these things. And Web 2 infrastructure, Web 2.5 infrastructure, can allow these things to manifest and happen. We also have APIs that move tokens across platforms with billions or hundreds of millions of users. So you can connect a wallet like Roll to Twitter and tweet tokens to all of your followers. You can connect a wallet like Roll to potentially a streaming platform, let's say Spotify, for example, and allow listeners to earn tokens from artists based on how early they've listened to a song, let's say. And so again, the total addressable market for this stuff is hundreds of millions of users, financial services as well, so the ability to buy tokens easily. So we wrap this stuff as an API that inevitably makes a lot of successful entrepreneurs and founders in the future. So you saw this in Web 2 with a company like Stripe, right? So Stripe did payments really beautifully, and that evolved into the gig economy. That evolved into a world in where a company like DoorDash in the US can deliver food and doesn't need to think about payments. A company like Shopify can focus on creating the best online stores in the US and doesn't have to worry about payments. With Roll, our APIs allow the foundation of the next internet to really happen. And this is an example of like great Web 2.5 infrastructure, right? So turning Twitter into a social token platform where you could tweet tokens to each other, creating something like a social token streaming platform. It was a 9-10-figure business, right? Where every artist can have a token, you could listen to music, earn the token. You know, we're creating categories here like listen to earn, right? There's these new things that are possible. And so, you know, so the idea of entrepreneurs creating stuff like this, focusing on their category is really special. Twitch, right? So connecting social tokens to Twitch and streaming tokens based on how long you've been in a live stream. Something like Discord, of course, just airdropping tokens to everyone that's been active in your Discord over the past few months, tipping, et cetera. Investment apps, right? So if you guys are building stock apps, or if you know folks building stock apps, you can plug social tokens into those stock apps and have a crypto option there as well. Metaverse and gaming, things like live to earn, provably existing in a metaverse and receiving tokens for that. These are all massive businesses that are waiting to be built in the future with infrastructure like this. So this is the beauty of infrastructure. If you guys are interested in building infrastructure or in the process of building infrastructure, it's a very exciting time to get involved and just help this category, help Web 2.5 and Web 3 grow through those products. Neobanks and e-commerce, so this idea of rewards. Imagine purchasing a coffee tomorrow and receiving a token from that coffee shop. Seems simple, but there's a lot of infrastructure required, right? To connect with Visa, all this stuff, having a custodial wallet. And so very excited about great infrastructure and definitely want folks to get on board and start thinking about Web 2.5 as a category and how it works. Great infrastructure also incorporates all of the asset class along the way. So things like Fireblocks, right? So Fireblocks is MPC wallet infrastructure, works with every token. Things like Collabland, Guild, those token gating things, they work with every NFT and ERC20. Similarly with Roll, we have the opportunity to turn every token into a social token, right? So it's not just things for creators or platforms. It's also integrating, we think everything's a social token, so tipping USDC on Reddit for that really cool post or tweet, buying ETH in WhatsApp, through different group chat options and a buy API, streaming Bitcoin on Twitch to a Bitcoin Maxi live stream. These are all things that we're excited about and we get to kind of integrate across the space. Earning Matic in an L2 metaverse. So when you guys think about infrastructure, this idea of integrating the entire asset class of tokens into it is sort of really important as well. And then lastly, just these ideas that great infrastructure connects the current moment with this visionary future moment that we all see. We all have this opportunity to onboard hundreds of millions, if not billions of users into this amazing new asset class. And it all relies on great infrastructure we can build right now. So those founders or future founders thinking of building platforms, think about building infrastructure and ways to get hundreds of millions of users involved in the category of Web3 and crypto. At Roll, we're focused on social tokens, this idea of millions of tokens across thousands of platforms. But in the future, we're very excited about other folks joining Web 2.5 infrastructure and helping move the category forward. If you guys are interested in building infrastructure, would love to connect. And yeah, in the future, if you guys are thinking about social tokens and different types of infrastructure plays or platform plays that we talked about, would love to connect as well. Enjoy the rest of the conference, guys. Thanks so much.